ESPN, the Total Sports Network, presents Pro Beach Volleyball. Today, the Miller Lite Miami Beach Open. In the finals, Andrew Smith and his partner, Dan Vrebalovich, versus Randy Stolos and St. John Smith. Back once again, getting ready for the finals of the Miami Beach Open as we look at the prize money breakdown for this tournament. And you can see the winning team will split $12,500. I think, though, for Andrew Smith and Dan Vrebalovich, there's a lot more than just money here at stake. Well, Florida, sunny day, very, very warm. There's a little bit of a breeze, but it's almost a warm breeze. If anything, it might affect the serving that the players have because they use that jump serve with the top spin. As it goes over the net, it drops down when you're serving into the wind. It can be so effective. St. John Smith, the all-time winner in wins. Randy Stolos, along with St. John, making it the best team, perhaps of all time. Certainly the best team in the 80s. And can this young team upset them? Well, it's young and yet it's not young. Andrew Smith, kind of a veteran, the younger brother of St. John Smith. Dan Vrebalovich, they've played together before. They've been in finals before. Bobby Clark, our referee. One of the stories within the story here will be Andrew Smith playing against his older brother, St. John.
Well, off the court, St. John's might...
Hope he's not overconfident. I don't think he will be. Randy Stolos will start off the game to 15, our finals. Two-hand set by Andrew. And Stolos, as he does so often, starts off with an overwhelming block, intimidating block, if you will.
One big key for Smith and Vrebalovich, they have to get by the block of Stolos. Stolos makes a good move this time. He goes out, reaches, and takes the line. You see the coordination between Smith and Stolos. Stolos blocking the line, Smith taking the angle.
Watch!
Bump set by Vrebalovich. And this time, Andrew Smith, with that long reach, hits it over the block of Randy Stolos. That's a side out.
Behind Randy, side out.
As you can see already, Stolos and Smith moving very slowly. They're trying to pace themselves. They've had a long day. They've played a lot more games today than Vrebalovich and Andrew. A backhander by Randy Stolos.
He touched the net, the referee Bobby Clark.
in the net.
Kind of a sloppy play. It started with a poor pass on the serve, which you don't often see.
One thing they teach you as a young volleyball player is to get off the net after you block one. Randy very tight that time, and his back caught the net.
And the reason was that St. John just misplayed the ball to him. So St. John Smith hits it by his younger brother, Andrew Smith. We talked to Andrew about playing against St. John. St. John probably doesn't want to lose to Andrew.
Beat his brother's brains in for the last 10 years. Andrew's 31 years old. He's no spring chicken, and the fact that he's never won really grates on him. And a lot of the losses he's had have been to his brother St. John. And this could be the day for him.
St. John certainly is one of the key spokesmen for the AVP Beach Volleyball Tour. Andrew is a little more on the shy side, not quite as outspoken, and he's always been in the older brother's shadow. Good block that time by Vrebalovich.
Poke at the net by Dan Vrebalovich on the
Sets just a little too close to the net on this particular play. Stolos sets it, it drifts over, perhaps guided by the wind, and Vrebalovich making a nice play. This would give Smith and Vrebalovich a little confidence if they get off to a good start.
Good pass by St. John. And a nice hit right by the outreach of Dan Vrebalovich. Bobby Clark, our referee, signaling it there. Well, the game moving very fast, but not too many points scored. Of course, you can only score when your team is serving.
That's a ball that Vrebalovich, the blocker, should have had. It went right by his arm. What you have to do is reach out, drop in, as they say, drop into the angle.
Misplay on the serve. Chance for a point. Good block.
Oh, nice up by St. John Smith.
Somebody into the net or under the net.
That's a takedown. Couple points for that. And they're saying Smith came under the net.
Now, you can come under the net in beach volleyball, but you can't interfere with your opponent.
Interference.
Absolutely. And Smith is saying that
he was interfered with, but the referee is saying, no, you interfered.
Smith makes a great up, and Stolos sets him perhaps a little too closely, but Smith coming way under, and I think that's a good call. St. John Smith definitely under the net on that play. So that's called interference, and the ball goes to Smith and Vrebalovich.
Dan Vrebalovich serve.
Dan Vrebalovich going to the jump serve. And he does with an ace. Great shot. So Vrebalovich and Andrew Smith have never won. They're picking a tough time to do it going against Smith and Stolos. We see or hear more young players talking that way this year.
Well, everybody has confidence, and but until you do it, you really don't have that ultimate confidence, and a lot of the talking is just talking. You know, I think I can do it, I hope I can do it, I pray I can do it, but until you do it, you really haven't done it.
St. John Smith, the veteran, working on the official a little bit there, maybe showing some of his experience.
Get a chance to see from our slam cam right at the net. Andrew Smith not over the net quite as far as perhaps he would have liked, and the ball off his hands out of bounds.
Smith, as most all the players do, will probably go to the jump serve here. Good pass. Good block by Stolos, but here it comes again. And again it's blocked.
That's for point.
And they convert. St. John Smith and Randy Stolos do convert. So now they only trail by a score of 3-2. The players will change sides on multiples of 5. That kind of evens out the play with the wind and the sun. And as they change sides, we'll take a quick break. Now, St. John Smith and Randy Stolos are on what we call the good side, so they need to make something happen.
You can see the flags in the background coming towards St. John Smith, and that's the ideal situation, especially when you're serving.
Oh, Smith just got stuck in the sand, could not run down that little poke over the outreach of Randy Stolos. So it's a side out.
Score remains frozen at 3-2.
And Vrebalovich, like most of the players on the circuit from Southern California,
started his career at the University of Hawaii, then transferred to UCLA because he wanted to win an NCAA championship. He only had 1 year of eligibility left, and they didn't win, so he never got the big one there. But he's still relatively young on the beach circuit.
This has been a long day already for Randy Stolos and St. John Smith. They've had to come up through the loser's bracket, and that could be a factor. Randy Stolos, perfect build for a beach volleyball player. He's got the endurance, but it has been a long day in Florida.
I think that ankle might be affecting him more than he lets on. I got a chance to take a look at it earlier, and his right ankle is very heavily swollen up.
Well, it's certainly in your interest if you're a player out there and you're injured to try to disguise it.
Absolutely. Nice play by Vrebalovich to come up and get that ball out of the ground. Stolos caught in no man's land there.
So all 4 of these players at one time or another, whether it was just for 1 year or longer, have played volleyball at UCLA. That's kind of interesting. I have to mention that, being a graduate. 2-hand set by Randy Stolos. And a good cross-court shot by St. John Smith. Did you go to college, Chris?
No, I didn't. I never made it.
Looking at it one time again. Ooh, good camera angle. And a good angle by St. John Smith to put it down. St. John Smith coming out of Pacific Palisades. 2-hand set by Vrebalovich. Smith can get it, but just get it over.
Play.
Good play by Andrew Smith, seeing the open court, knocks it down in 2.
You don't have to hit the ball 3 times, and that time Andrew caught the defense out of position. You'll see it. Smith makes a great defensive play, but he and Stolos are both on the left side of the court, and the right side of the court is open. Smith just hits it down. Very smart shot by Andrew. Good block.
So they're not on the good side, but they're trying to make some points. Dan Vrebalovich and Andrew Smith, and they're doing pretty well. They're playing against a very good team.
Inside, over the net. You see the penetration. Vrebalovich able to get his hands over the net and keep it very tight. That's what makes the ball go at a downward trajectory.
Oh, Andrew Smith all over that one. And puts it away.
Younger brother Andy feeling his oats.
I'll see, and Randy Stolos a little frustrated as they keep serving him. He's getting a lot of plays and maybe not having so much fun at it.
5 serving 2 now.
Good ball control. They get the ball near the net. You don't want it too close where Randy can get it. And Smith and Vrebalovich look very, very good.
And Smith and Stolos know they can't get too far behind here. They're on the good side. They need points right now. St. John Smith, two-hand set. Randy Stolos hits it, and Dan Vrebalovich can't quite block it. Chris Marlowe, that's not often we see St. John Smith use his hands. Are they calling him a little looser this year?
I think the hands have loosened up. At least the calls have loosened up. But in the effort to get Randy Stolos a good set, St. John went to the hands that time, put up a good one for him.
Good.
This should be a point.
They convert.
Right down the line by St. John
So
Smith.
they're on the good side. They need to make some points, and they do get one. Randy Stolos and St. John Smith.
3 serving 5 now.
Randy Stolos does look tired. Look at his hands on his knees back in the backcourt.
For always the first indication when a player bends over like that he's feeling it.
Randy Stolos does a lot of work on his team. He jump serves, and look at the effort he puts into every single serve. Then he goes up to the net and he blocks. And if he gets lucky, he gets back off and gets a chance to hit.
He tries to surprise them in two, but they're ready. Oh, and St. John Smith cannot quite get it up. Oh, and he's mad at himself.
Relatively, that's an easy dig for Smith.
And Dan goes cross court.
Two hands, he might have had it. He was in the right position, maybe moving just a little. You want to be set when you're trying to dig in the backcourt. It goes by Stolos. We'll see it a little better on this angle at the slam cam. But it goes by Stolos, and Smith just a little out of position, comes off one arm, and Andrew Smith will serve.
He's been knocking on the door often. He thinks he can do it today. We'll see.
Go!
Oh, good little poke, and once again, St. John is there, but he can't quite get it up. And look at Stolos. I think he hurt the ankle again.
Side out Smith Vrebalovich.
They are really frustrating. They are getting very frustrated at this point. On the other hand, Smith and Vrebalovich, they think they play together really well.
Smith was set to play with Frohoff, but then when Karch Karai came back and he said he wanted to play with Frohoff, he got him. Andrew Smith didn't have a partner, so he said, well, I'll play with Vrebalovich, who he didn't even play with last year, played with 2 years ago. And now they're a pretty good team. Third seed, and they have a chance to win a tournament.
And of course, that's one of the intriguing parts of beach volleyball is you can pick your own partner, and players do change partners quite often, especially losing combinations.
You notice how the ball is off the net. If you set the ball 50-50 or right on the net, it gets blocked. So you have to keep the ball a foot and a half back.
We mentioned that all the players had played at one time volleyball at UCLA. Smith, by far, had the longest and most successful career. In the late 70s, one year he was the most valuable player in the NCAA tournament. So Smith and Stolos do get a point here as they change sides. They now go to the bad side. They got a few points, however, they still trail here in the finals of the Miller Lite Miami Beach Open.
4 serving 6.
Smith, a tremendous defensive player, and Stolos, a tremendous blocker. They might think about alternating, but it might not make them as good a team to do that.
Absolutely. You want Stolos at the net. That's where he is really the king of the beach, blocking at the net.
But right now, Vrebalovich and Andrew Smith kind of smooth sailing, if you will. Good combination, good pass, set, and hit every time.
Andrew Smith will serve.
This is the second tournament in Florida. The players will play all over the United States in 1989.
Good block.
Blocking the net by Dan Vrebalovich. Point to Smith and Burke.
They can all jump out of the sand, can't they? And that time, Vrebalovich went up high.
And these players scout each other. Usually when Smith comes to the middle of the court, he'll turn back towards the line. Now, Vrebalovich guesses that time correctly. His left hand goes out, seals the line, and they get a point.
He really did climb. Game is to 15. They're up in front 7-4. Hitting in two is Stolos, but they're ready for it. Randy digs it, but it's going to go into the second row.
Smith with the excellent defensive play. Ready for the quick offense by Smith Stolos, and Andrew puts it away by hammering down the line. Point.
So the crowd enjoying the sun and enjoying this final here.
Pretty nice play by Smith. Now this is the ball that should come up. Stolos is there, but perhaps once again bothered by that ankle, and perhaps the fact that they played all day long and not able to control the ball.
Want to remind you folks,
So
this is
Randy
your last chance to pick
Stolos
up
and St. John Smith decide they need a timeout. And while they take that break, let us take this opportunity to get to know one of the other players on the beach tour, Miami Beach Open. There are your money winners from last year. As you can see, the two players in the finals in this tournament, St. John Smith and Randy Stolos, dominating. Tim Hovland and Mike Dodd off to a slow start again. They got a fourth in this tournament. Third place went to Steve Obradovich and John Hanley. A good tournament for them. Stevenson and Powers kind of on the disabled list right now with injuries. Certainly no team that's disabled right now, though, as Andrew Smith and Dan Vrebalovich. They are cooking. The ball goes long. St. John Smith hit it out. So 9-4 in their game to 15. Andrew Smith and Dan Vrebalovich closing in on their first win.
You know, it's interesting to see when brothers play against each other. Will Andrew serve St. John? Will he keep serving his brother and working him? There's Andrew. Let's see if he goes to his brother cross court. He does. Nope, he goes to Stolos that time.
Now, what's the call going to be right there? Both players had it right up on top of the net.
Bobby Clark is calling interference on Randy Stolos. You're not allowed to come under the net and interfere with the other player. You're allowed to go under if you don't make contact. But Stolos, I think, as we'll see, will come all the way under and take out Vrebalovich. Here he comes. Definitely all the way under, and a great view from our slam cam.
Easy play to call as we look at it again. And once again, Randy Stolos and St. John Smith decide they need a timeout.
And Randy Stolos is going to rest up just a bit. They take the timeout before they go on the next side change. They really need to hold the fort right here. So they'll just rest up. As we look at the top finishers, Lynn mentioned Hanley and Obradovich came in third, a terrific finish. Hovland and Dodd disappointing in fourth. But two new teams, Eric Wirtz and Rudy Dvorak, and Brooke Vandeweghe and Jeff Rogers in fifth place. Two young teams that played very, very well in this tournament. And we may see them a little later in the year on one of our ESPN telecasts.
Good crowd down here in Miami Beach enjoying the action. Interesting, this team of Smith and Stolos, they've been together for 8 years, Chris. They don't need to talk about strategy. They're just resting. That's strictly the reason for this timeout. They need to regroup.
Is Andrew ready? Is he waiting?
He is ready. Andrew Smith, by the way, is a very successful model, travels all over the world to do a lot of print commercials, but would love to win one beach tournament. St. John Smith hits it through the block that time. A successful side out.
Key now for Smith Stolos. Can they score a few points in a row to give them a little confidence? They look down right now. And the brother of Andrew Smith and Stolos, they need to score points in a hurry.
Well, usually what can turn it around when they come from behind is the blocking of Randy Stolos, and so far they haven't been able to detect a weakness in the team of Vrebalovich and Andrew Smith.
Well, I think Randy's definitely hampered by the sprained ankle, but the longer this match goes, the longer this game goes, the better for Smith and Vrebalovich, I think. They're more rested. Good spike there by Smith.
And Andrew looks back to his partner, Dan, as if, where were you? I had a signal that I was going to cut the block, the hit down the line off, and you were going to take the angle. Where were you?
And Vrebalovich is probably thinking, look, he's your brother. You've played with him for 30 years. You should know that shot by now.
That would have been a hard one to dig, even if you're there. Just long is the serve of St. John Smith and Randy Stolos, and when you're tired, you really don't need that, because that means you're just going to be out there that much longer. Andrew Smith going with the jump serve. Does he have enough topspin? Yes, right on the line. That's an ace. So Smith and Vrebalovich only 4 points away from their first win. They lead 11-4 here. And the players will take a break as they change sides, and so will we as we watch the finals of the Miller Lite Miami Beach Open. Smith and Vrebalovich out in front.
The finals to professional beach volleyball action.
Randy Stolos and St. John Smith last year started by winning the first 6 tournaments. They finished second in the first week at Fort Myers, and now they are on the verge of finishing second again. But more importantly for Andrew Smith, he's on the verge of getting his first win.
He got 1 second last year, Lynn. Nice put away by Stolos. He got a second with Frohoff at Venice. And as we've seen a number of times, Andrew Smith very, very close, but never able to put it away.
Randy Stolos was also voted as the best setter by his peers in 1988.
There's what they need. Some blocking out of the king of the Kong, Randy Stolos.
That's what he's known for, is that great intimidating block. Now, Vrebalovich, as we've seen, can really jump, but not high enough here.
Nice move by Randy. You see him reach his right hand out that time and take the line on Vrebalovich. Vrebalovich is known as a cross-court hitter. He hits away from his body most of the time.
Oh, a good little poke by Vrebalovich, but it goes just out. So that'll give Smith and Stolos some life.
A little pressure now on Smith and Vrebalovich to get that ball in. It's a pretty good set. Vrebalovich goes up. He knows he's got Stolos there, and he just misses the shot. It's a little rainbow to the corner. Didn't find the pot of gold.
Interesting point you bring up. Now they're playing not to lose with this big lead. And there's going to be a break down there on the sand. So it's a time for us to meet another beach performer. Scott Friedrichsen at 6'3" was voted last year by his peers as the Sportsman of the Year.
Prediction, Lynn, in the year of 1993, Randy Stolos is going to become the first player ever, volleyball player, to win $1 million career-wise.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's still out there.
Mark
that's
that
for sure.
down, Shaq.
Okay.
Mark that down.
By the way, Hovland and Dodd had a good year last year, $131,000 each. They were the most consistent team, 8 wins in 9 seconds. Great serve, good pass. Vrebalovich, though, is blocked by Stolos, and here they come with the blocking.
3 straight points, a couple of Stolos blocks, and 1 intimidation. Watch Randy, they're playing it. He says, St. John, get in the corner, and I'll get the rest. He reaches over, takes that angle.
Game is to 15. They're on the good side, Smith and Stolos. Good serve down the middle.
I think they served the wrong guy, though. Well, maybe not.
It goes long, Andrew Smith. He didn't have to hit it that good.
When you haven't won a tournament, the pressure is really on, and you're playing against perhaps the greatest team of all time in Smith and Stolos. They're coming back, and Andrew and Vrebalovich have to be feeling the pressure right now. They have to be feeling a little tight.
Well, maybe that's a good idea then to kind of stop and think about it for a little while. You can see Randy Stolos and St. John, they don't need to talk about it. What they need is rest. Stolos has a bad ankle. He's going to get off of his feet to rest it.
Andrew and Vrebalovich took a sand timeout. It's a 20-second timeout, equivalent of a basketball timeout. This is perhaps the most important play that Smith and Vrebalovich have in this tournament. A little close-up of Randy Stolos. You can see the swelling in his right ankle. But he's gutting it out. He wants to get a victory. Smith and Vrebalovich have to put the ball away this time. Oh! I think it just caught the line, just barely. Nice shot by Vrebalovich. A little touch shot over the block. It's called a rainbow shot. Those are the kind that get a little nervous. You get a little nervous and you start poking it out of bounds. That was a good shot.
What is also scaring Vrebalovich and Smith is that there have been now 9 straight points scored on the good side, and they're on the bad side. So Smith and Stolos are rolling. St. John Smith hits it deep middle, keeps it in, side out, so they need this point to go to an 11-9 side change, and then they'll have to go to the bad side. They desperately need it. The AVP, Association of Volleyball Professionals, they run their own tour.
Good hit.
Cross-court spike by Andrew Smith.
So a crucial side out for the team of Smith and Vrebalovich.
Andrew serve.
Coordination between block and defense. Smith and Stolos have the correct play call, but Smith just a little too far to the right. He's moving just a little too much. And an important side out for Smith Vrebalovich. Uh-oh. Oh!
Andrew Smith in 2 says, let me have it. I'll take control. I'm ready to win this match, and he does put it away. They get the side change. They go to the good side. They are in a commanding 12-8 lead. And Andrew Smith and Dan Vrebalovich on the verge of winning their first tournament.
It's a big play by Andrew Smith. No block. You don't get this very often now, and he clobbers it.
So Andrew Smith and Dan Vrebalovich go to the good side. They lead 12-8. Can they win? In a few years, when you get a little older, we'll trust you to do that interview.
Okay, I give him.
Andrew Smith back to serve.
Andrew
Resumes
Smith
after the side change.
getting ready to
12-38.
serve. Will he go to the jump serve? A couple times on the bad side, he opted not to. Yes, he's going to. Off the block, Randy Stolos. So they keep serving him. They keep working on him, but Stolos is up to the challenge that time.
Vrebalovich and out of bounds, side out.
Interesting now, who would Randy Stolos serve? Will he go with a jump serve, and do you serve Vrebalovich or Andrew Smith right now?
It goes out. I think one of the problems in this match is Smith and Stolos have not been able to detect a weakness in the team of Andrew Smith and Dan Vrebalovich.
Well, it's not a clear cut who you serve on that team. A lot of people like to serve Andrew, some like to serve Vrebalovich. It's not a, oh, here's another chance for a point. Big one here. And they get it.
Poke at the net by Andrew Smith.
13-8.
Puts his team ahead by 5.
You have to take advantage of the other team's mistakes, and Smith and Stolos accidentally bump one over. And Andrew Smith right there, he can sense it now. Get a couple plays like that, and good call by St. John taking his last timeout.
Each team is allowed 2 timeouts in the game to 15, and so they use their final timeout once again to rest and try to throw off the momentum at this point of Andrew Smith and Dan Vrebalovich. And you can see the two brothers standing there. They don't need to talk. They've played each other before, probably 400,000 times. The Smith family is a very, very talented family athletically. As you can see, St. John Smith, very talented in beach volleyball, the all-time winner in number of wins. Randy Stolos right behind him. Mike Dodd, the veteran. Tim Hovland also up there. And Karch Karai, who we saw earlier here but did not get in the finals of this tournament, he could creep up there too as he concentrates more on the beach.
Got to get this one in after a timeout. Big serve.
Good hit by St. John Smith. Andrew tried to block his older brother. Didn't work.
Andrew, side out.
Andrew should move his right hand on this particular play. He's off the net perhaps a little too far. If he were a little closer to the net, he might have had that one. He could have penetrated over another maybe half foot.
St. John Smith with the serve. Two-hand set by Vrebalovich. Andrew puts it away. St. John, great dig, but here we go again. And this time they don't get it up. Side out. So it's one thing to make the great dig, but you got to keep it on your own side or you haven't helped your team much.
Well, when it's a big hit like that, those are hard to get because that had a downward trajectory. The first dig by St. John Smith was a brilliant one, but it went back over the net.
And that is the problem, serving into the wind with the jump serve as you get on top of it with that top spin and it just sinks right into the net.
Plus, at the end of a final, you're tired. And Randy Stolos this time going to use the float serve, give himself a chance to get in there.
Right on the line. Randy Stolos was there, took a long look, decided to let it go. He shouldn't have. It was good.
He called the right play. He pointed for St. John to take the line, and he took the angle. Ball just landed right on the edge of the rope. Make the rope dance, as we used to call it. Make that rope dance.
Vrebalovich would love to do that with a serve.
That's out.
The ball goes out by Randy Stolos.
Randy Stolos is wide, point to the team of Smith Vrebalovich.
Oh, Smith and Vrebalovich. Got a little break here. Stolos turned it down the line, past the block, but just out of bounds. And his heart has to be pumping right now. Chance to win his first open tournament of all time.
The team of Stolos and Smith.
So there are many thoughts going through the minds of Andrew Smith and Dan Vrebalovich right now as they are on the verge of that first win. They lead it, a commanding score of 14-8 here in the Miller.
Hoping for a point. You hope he'll hit it, fall down, break a leg, your brother will have a heart attack. Well, maybe not that far, but the first thing you have to concentrate here, get this ball in.
Angle!
Good angle by Randy Stolos, and you heard St. John yell out, angle. Stolos followed directions well.
Side out, Smith Stolos. St. John Smith will serve. 8, serving 14.
St. John Smith goes to the jump serve. And an ace down the middle. They get their signals mixed up for Vrebalovich and Andrew Smith, and neither one takes it.
And when you begin hoping, you sometimes get a little tentative. That's a play that would not have happened a little earlier. And it's really up to Smith and Vrebalovich now to be strong and get a good side out, get possession.
Good shot selection by Dan Vrebalovich right there. So once again, they will be serving for the match.
Andrew looks very calm. I'm surprised. I thought he'd be a little more hyper now, being so close, but that's a good sign. He looks confident.
Well, he's on the good side. He's up 14-9.
He looks cool.
He should be confident.
And St. John doing everything he can to disrupt the action. Sand timeout, slowing it down, trying to perhaps bait his brother. Andrew has mentioned that a couple of times, that when he's been really close, you know, that against his brother, that St. John will try to disrupt things and try to throw him off and get him mad.
I think deep down, St. John would like to see Andrew win a tournament. But
just not this one.
Not this one, or any one that he's playing in the finals against him. Well, if anyone knows what St. John Smith is trying to do, it would be Andrew.
Serve his brother. This is his chance.
Out! It goes out! The ball goes out. They do it. They win their first tournament. Andrew Smith and Dan Vrebalovich are the champions of the Miller Lite Miami Beach Open.
Give them a lot of credit. They played well the entire tournament. They beat every good team in this tournament. One more look. It's championship point. Stolos goes up. Beautiful dig by Andrew Smith. This one's going to go out. You're hoping it's going out. And watch the reaction of the two victors. One more angle from the slam cam. Stolos sizzles it. Just a little too long. And Vrebalovich goes crazy.
They win $12,500, which they will split as a team. They are obviously very happy. They are also probably relieved at having won their first tournament. And I'm sure the thrill will wear for a few days here. A very happy team. And Chris Marlowe, they almost made it look easy.
A monster may have been born. Once you win that first one, you have the confidence. And now in a couple of weeks in Tucson, we'll find out how Smith and Vrebalovich will progress. Andrew